I've been to that. On wax kill. You know. Oh gosh, let me see what you but then finish now. You're about to feel a ride full of menace. I hit him up. Get out the Biggie Smart just got Bob. Now it's all about facade. You're clapping my style. 5 shot, couldn't stop me. I took it and smiled. The record straight. With my AK, I'm just that you love to hey, mother. We hit them up. First I got my mind right, then I got my money right. Now I'm ready for war. Tell it to your face, you ain't nothing to fake. What up, Moors and true light seekers? We just here chilling. Just here chilling, finishing up some work, talking to the people. My day is done, so I'm gonna come get some positive vibrations to tell everybody to get prepared for our lecture. July 3rd, you don't want to miss this lecture. It's going to be live on YouTube. It's going to be live on Instagram at our Temple and School page. Our Temple and School page is burningbushtabernacle.ts, and we're going to illuminate some science. We're going to illuminate some science before you can get all out that spookism. So all your brothers and sisters, every year they want to just get with that negative vibration, that man-made stuff, but they're not connected to the atmosphere. They're not connected to the as above and as below. We're going to illuminate it. Where all our people just talk about the 4th of July and Independence Day. No, man, we nobles. We on a whole nother level. And man-made stuff don't mess with us when we operate on a higher level of wisdom. You know, all this stuff is old wisdom. None of the stuff that I talk about is new. None of the stuff that I illuminate is new. This is ancient wisdom. This is old wisdom that everybody understands. We just been miseducated by our own people and the satanic spirit. I tell y'all every day, stop falling for man-made spookism. Stop falling for religious dogma. If you want to be illuminated and if you want to know the true meaning of the 4th of July, the Independence Day, which was a cosmic event, which was the day of the keeper, you got to understand this. And all my so-called, well, I don't even call them so-called, all my Muslim brothers, they should understand this. Because all this science that I illuminate was given and written and sent to all the students in the ministry of Islam in the wilderness of North America by Elijah Muhammad, servant of Allah, dated 4 to 1936, and then it was reissued in 1/1863. So none of this stuff that I illuminate should be unfamiliar with these brothers that call themselves Muslims and the nation. They shouldn't be unfamiliar with what I'm saying, nobles, because here your brother with the fez on. The Garveyets, they all wore fez. I'm telling you, man. They be lying to you. Your own people be lying to you. And then they won't tell you that a lot of these people sold out for money. And it ain't no disrespect to nobody. But I'm just saying what it is, man. We got to stop acting like we don't know. Because your own people lied to you. It's just what it is. And it's no disrespect to no one. That's why I tell Moors, like and share. More should be subscribing to the real. You should be subscribing to be illuminated. Unless you're just here for niggertainment. You know? And everybody, even elders, when I speak to these elders and these so-called imams, they be like, Sheikh, well, you a scholar and blah, 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 blah. They start breaking down all those excuses. This ain't tradition. This is law. This ain't tradition. This is law. So when all your brothers and sisters be trying to act like it's a difference from Christianity and Islam, you have the wrong interpretation. You don't have the understanding of the triple roads. And I be trying to share this with our brothers and sisters, but we don't want to be educated. This science is real simple if you have a true map and a guide. This science is real simple if you have a true map and a guide. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, you lost because most of these grown men are playing. I told y'all, don't pick with a rattlesnake and you playing. I know Moors. I know exactly who you are. I'm international. I pop up in the Dominican Republic or anywhere. I know people handle before they deal with me. That's why I don't share certain stuff with Moors. They just jump in and jump out, and they don't want to pay homage. I know who these people be before they come. I don't care who you are. You can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from yourself. I told you, a lot of these grown men, a lot of these brothers that say they looking for light, they just be lying. They won't be dedicated to nothing. Only thing they dedicated is what somebody tell them to be dedicated to. They'll never be dedicated to what they say they love. They'll never be dedicated to science because that ain't them. They'll play that shit and go right back to your NBC life because most more is playing. Most more is running from something and don't understand this universal science. That's why I say most of these brothers that come to the science, they just be running from shit. They don't want to learn. Most of these brothers is not dedicated to nothing. I know so many military people. I know National Guards. I know Secret Services. Like I'm 45 years young for a reason. I'm illuminated and initiated. I get to go places the average individual don't go. Period. So when Moors come to me and when people come to me, I don't care if you military, I don't care if you in a fraternity, I don't care if you an ex-prisoner or nothing, I already know who you are before you come to me. I already know that most people's names on Instagram is not who they are. If you think if you think the powers that be have information to look you up with face recognition, or you think I don't, and I tell you every day that I'm a business, people crazy, man. They want to be a part of something. They don't understand America is the only place that you can have nothing and be something. A lot of our military brothers don't even know what the fuck they in. Watch this. A lot of our military brothers don't even know what the hell they in. A lot of our military people don't even know what they in. When they look about the peace and treaty, Tripoli, Article 11, when they said that the United States was not established on Christian laws or anything or Christian belief. When them Europeans or aliens or Negroes will lie to you and talk about, oh, you got to be inaugurated or anything with deal with telling the truth, you got to put your hand on some Bible. That's bullshit. And if you don't know that, they lying to you. And that ain't no law. That ain't no law that you got to put your hand on the Bible. That's bullshit. And Thomas Jefferson was inaugurated on what? The Quran. Here go the other Thomas Jefferson Quran. So when military brothers be said, oh, they fought for freedoms and this, man, I don't be wanting to hear that shit. Because a lot of stuff our brothers don't know. They don't know. Because you don't get shared the history. I'm going to break a little bit of illumination down for you, for my brothers. When I tell you that you can wear your fez and your turban in the military, at work, or in a course. If you're working with heavy machinery, they just don't want you to wear your tassel. That's why I said Negroes are scared. But you ain't part of no real tribe. Because my tribe have religious laws and my tribe have ID. The religious rights of indigenous people, where you have the right to do everything I say. You ain't no damn sovereign citizen. I know the average NBC don't know because they don't have a tribal leader and they don't know about the religious laws. We ain't going against no damn government. Shit, the stupidest shit in the world. Moors are law-abiding citizens. Read your divine creed and your bylaws. Any other Moor, they some goddamn European Negro goddamn militia. And we ain't against no government. This some sovereign citizen European shit. I'm telling you, the religious laws trump everything. Negroes don't got it twisted. Because they don't want to go to the sound of true leadership. They want to be criminals. I say what I'm saying on the corner with a bullhorn. Look me up. I have real college degrees, and I'm really anointed and consecrated. Period. And among the 6,500 books sold to Congress by Jefferson in 1815 to replace Congressional Library that had been destroyed when the British burned the Capitol during the War of 1812. Now let me stop right there. Watch this. So we ain't got to talk about nothing that I don't know. I teach this shit in school. In real academia. Not no fake shit. And then I showed you how they whitewashed the Battle of Bunker Hill. They whitewashed Oliver Cromwell and who was it? Oliver Cromwell and Peter Salmon. I show you that in America Black and White. And then I show you in a book in college how they whitewash it out of history. I don't have to use no more science books. I can use all history books in the library. The European agree with me. They sons of Muslims. They only 32 and 33 degrees. I speak straight up science. I don't speak no spookism. If you know any European Masons, if you know any fake ass, no excuse my candor, mystic name Prince Hall Masons, I illuminate the science to them. But the war in 1812 was a translation of the Quran by George Sales. Sales' translation included more than 100 pages of notes written from a Christian perspective. When I talk about the triple role of the adapt chamber, when I talk about Zoroastrianism. Man, I'll talk about the Kabbalah. I'll go into Zohar. I'll go into the Sefer, which is nothing but the book of Yasher. I'll go into all that stuff that the Bible tell you. Didn't you read this in the book of Yasher? So in academia, that's considered a prerequisite, including advice on how certain Muslims can be converted. When we talk about conquest and reconquest, you know what I mean? So of course, these two uses of the Quran, once Jefferson had the volume within his possessions, are not mutually exclusive. He very well may have used his Quran for both purposes, law and religion. Listen to this. There are some references found in this textbooks, or if he purchased his copy of the Quran later in order to research the faith of the jihadists and of his day, the Barbary pirates. And during that time, I hope you know jihadists don't mean what you think it means. That's why I didn't do the lecture yesterday, because Negroes want everything free. I was getting ready to illuminate the whole science and show the truth, but Moors, they're rather, and light seekers, or those that say they light seekers, or rather spend their money on niggertainment. But he wanted to know the faith of the Barbary and the jihadists, aka pirates. Now listen to this, all my military people. You all should be sharing this. Of course, these two uses of the Quran, once Jefferson had the volumes within his possessions, are not mutually exclusive. He very well had used his Quran for both purposes. Jefferson calculated the books within his library by subject and included the Quran with other legal texts. I hope y'all know this. When I talk about algebra, that's Islamic. When I talk about algorithm, that's Islamic. But I can go on and on. But that's for my students. But he also confronted Islamic extremists, often during his storied life. While Thomas Jefferson was serving as the U.S. ambassador to France, the Betsy, a merchant brig, was captured on October 11, 1784, by Moroccan corsairs. So now they call you corsairs. You got to understand all these different names, synonymous of the same thing. After famed foreign minister Jose Muñoz y Redondo negotiated the release of the captured ship and crew, Spain advised the United States to follow their course of action and pay tribute to the who? Berber Muslims, to prevent further attacks. Months after the Betsy was captured, 2 additional American ships were seized, and their crew of 21 men was enslaved by Algerian corsairs. Now they Algerian corsairs. A schooner Maria, commanded by Captain Isaac Stevens, was captured off Cape St. Vincent, Portugal on July 24, 1785. And a week later, on July 30 of 1785, the Dauphin, Dauphin, commanded by Captain Richard O'Brien, was captured off Cadiz, Spain. Y'all know what Spain was. This time Spain was unwilling to negotiate on America's behalf. Research it. Now watch this. Jefferson in 1786, along with John Adams, the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, met with Tripoli's ambassador to Great Britain, Sida Haji Abdul Rahman Ajah. Now y'all remember that song from the shores to the, y'all know what I'm talking about. Watch this. They talk about the war against the Moors. While y'all seeing this in the military, they talk about the war against the Moors. And then they put that Demi Moore head up on one instance to show that they captured you. When you look at the slave ship of Jesus Alembic, I'm telling you, the Moorish flag, the Corsica flag with the bandana, in the military, they sing the song showing you that they defeated the Moors and the War of Ferdinand and Isabella. Come on, man. This ain't no secret. To all my military brothers, Thomas Jefferson reported the conversation to the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, John Jay. We took the liberty to make some inquiries concerning the grounds of their pretensions to make war upon a nation who had done them no injury, and observe that we consider all mankind as our friends. This is what they say, who had done us no wrong, nor had given us provocation. The ambassador answered us that it was founded on the laws of their prophet. Listen to this. Hard to say committed when you're surrounded by NBC activity daily, but that's no excuse. Got to strengthen the willpower. You damn right. I'll be telling people, read no history. dude, I love everybody. But if you don't know history, I hope nobody don't be out here portraying like they know it. The religious laws protect everybody. You don't see no religious person having to go to do something that they don't understand or be in anything that they don't understand. The religious laws trump all. You got to understand that. But the laws of their prophet, that it was written in their Quran, that all nations who should not have acknowledged their authority were sinners, that it was their right and duty to make war upon them whenever they could be found, and to make slaves of all they could take as prisoners. When you look at they were white and they were slaves, and the barbaric slave trade, and that every Muslim, aka Muslim, who should be slain in battle was sure to go to paradise. That's why that lecture that I didn't do yesterday, and Moors didn't want to donate $5 or $10, they've missed so much. And I'm giving it in a DAP class Saturday to my members and students. But also, he had also that the man who was the first to board a vessel had one slave over above his share. And that when they sprang to the deck of the enemy ship, every sailor held a dagger in each hand and a third in his mouth, which usually struck such terror into the foe that they cry out for a quarter at once. Thomas Jefferson decided to send representatives to Morocco and Algeria, however you want to pronunciate it, to try to negotiate treaties and to secure the freedom of the captured sailors. Each of the 4 Berber Muslim states demanded 60,000. The envoys, however, were only given a budget of 40,000. Diplomatic negotiations to reach an amount for tribute or the ransom of the captured sailors bogged down. The crews of Maria and Dolphin remained in captivity for over a decade and were soon joined by other captured crews. Letters and testimonies by captured sailors described their captivity as slavery. Most captives were forced into hard labor into the service of the Barbary pirates and lived in extreme harsh conditions. In 1795, Algeria came to an agreement that resulted in the release of at a cost of $1 million. US paid Algiers the ransom and agreed to pay up to $1 million per year for the safe passage of American ships. A $1 million payment in ransom and tribute to these Islamic states in 1800 would have amounted to approximately 10% of the United States government's annual revenues. In 1801, when Jefferson was president, Tripoli demanded a massive payment. Hold on. They would ask for a massive payment for approximately 10% of the government's annual revenue. So in 1801, when Jefferson was president, Tripoli demanded a payment from the United States, along with the increased annual tribute, in order to continue secure, safe passage for American ships through the Mediterranean. Jefferson refused the demands, and instead of sending more money, he sent naval warships carrying the newly created U.S. Marine Corps. This is where the line to the shores of Tripoli and the Marine Corps hymns come from. Come on, man. Now, and I ain't even got into the whole teaching. That's just what it is. What did I do with them kids? I'm about to go up the street and pick up my sister. And I'm going to keep it on. And I'm going to come back. So, where their excuse? It can't be no excuses of what I just illuminated. For all my brothers that say they know history and know what's in the world, what's the excuse if we don't want to learn from a brother that's anointed and consecrated? if you don't want to be resurrected? I mean, really, come on, man. All my brothers and sisters, and there ain't nothing wrong what we doing if we doing things with the right heart. But I'm saying a true understanding. And no one can deny I'm not illuminating true understanding. And then just like mathematics, it have to be applied. It have to be applied. I'm just showing y'all real life, man. I'm just showing y'all real life. When I say this ain't no, all right, cut the camera on and edit and do some old fake shit. This ain't nothing. So when we speak on things, nobles, and when we illuminate science, I put everything back on us, man. And that didn't even take long. And so we done went to school all this time in history class, a so-called black history class, and get nothing out of it. And y'all don't think people laughing at us? And I do that. I always say that a prophet and an angel, but then the 101s and your 102s. So that's all I be saying, young nobles, man. We not against no government. We not against nothing. America is the best place that you can be, to be nothing and be something. But America, you have the rights as a human. And in order to get some civil rights, you must have human rights. You know what I mean? And that's just a fact. And it shouldn't be hard to be committed, man. No, but when you got connections, that's why I said I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in the war. Than a gardener in the war. Yeah, that's right. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in the war. See, nobles don't understand how to be warriors in a garden. I don't give a shit what I'm surrounded by. Because if I'm surrounded by bullshit, the light gonna illuminate all that shit. I don't give a damn what other people doing. Nah. I'm gonna stick to what I know. To what I know to be true. And then I know I got a band of brothers and sisters that depend on me. So when people make excuses, that's just like assholes. Everybody got one. That shit cliche. And when I was a child, I act like a child. When I became a man, I put away all childish ways. I don't have no sympathy for no grown man making no mistakes, or feeling they can't do something, or be strong in the midst of. That showed me a character flaw, that we not strong. That's just like, oh, if you be around niggas that's junkies and you ain't strong and they smoking crack, a person to say, well, man, I ain't strong enough. All my friends smoking crack, so I'm gonna smoke crack too. That's some punk shit. Or I'm gonna act like I don't have money to be a member, but I spend my money on niggertainment. And being a member costs less than all that shit. And the value you get is way worth more than anything. But I know the first thing we'll do is make excuses. I know that's the first thing we'll do is make excuses. It's just like working out. A person that started working out quit. And then they brothers and sisters stay working out and then wonder why they in shape. And wonder why they in shape. Because this is what they do. This is part of their life. This ain't no shit that they'll just do because they think it's fucking cool. They don't commit their lives to something and then fucking quit. That's what I'll be telling brothers. We'll make excuses to say what we are part of and then say this and that and the other. We ain't dedicated to nothing that we say we really believe in. Because when it comes down to time and sacrifice and putting a little bit of money into that shit, first thing a Negro do is make an excuse and talk about everybody else. That's the first thing a Negro will do. That's why I be saying, man, people be having fake ass light. That light, the light these Negroes have is a flashlight. The light these Negroes be having is a flashlight. Real shit. Because men show me exactly what they're gonna do. Like I can tell a man what exactly what he's gonna do every time they deal with me. Because they come in the door making fucking excuses. Excuse my candor. And I'm just keeping it 100. Men that come in the door making more excuses than anything. You know? Because look at the excuses that they make. We'll say things that's cliche. You know, and no disrespect, young noble. Like, hard to stay committed when you're surrounded by NBC activity daily, but that's no excuse. Gotta strengthen the willpower. That's cliche. Because if you're surrounded by NBCs all day, that's your fault. Because if I'm a lion and a silverback, I'm gonna surround myself by lions and silverbacks. I ain't talking people in the world are just people of the world. And see, that's the excuse NBCs make. They're trying to say they're surrounded by this and that and the other. That's average people. But if you a silverback, if you a gorilla, if you a lion, you gonna seek out that shit. If not, you just talking. And that's what people want people to do, have sympathy for them. And like I be telling grown men, I don't got no sympathy for you. You got all your fingers, yep. You got all your toes, yep. Have you ever been to prison? Nope. Well, why you ain't dedicated and committed to nothing? Well, I know why. Excuses. It be straight up excuses. And I be telling men, look at the excuses we'll make. Nico got more excuses like he getting ready to go to prison. I know cats that just got out of prison, been out of prison a year or two, is popping way more than cats that been out all their life and swear that they into some damn Moor science. And I be like, man, y'all ain't in no Moor science. Y'all in Moor's criminal shit. Real talk. Real talk. Moors don't study, Moors don't read. They go on internet to internet and they be trying to find something. Come on, man. Cause they be poor and they be bums. They talk that white man, black man, racist shit. This all the white man is cause they bums. Real talk. They'll make so many excuses. That's why I be laughing at these fake ass alpha men that want to talk about women. A lot of these men don't have nothing to offer. especially when it's talking about heaven. When I said you don't have nothing to offer to a woman if you can't show her heaven. Because a dollar, man make money. And man is created from the great God Allah. So I don't ask Allah for no goddamn money. That's why I tell women and men, you're only as good as your mate. These Moors be Moors on the internet. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. Come on, man, talk to me. Y'all know y'all never see a Moor at work or in the military or in court looking like how I'm looking. Because they don't even know the law. They say that they can wear it. They be so afraid. This is applied mathematics, man. I just broke down so much history and so much things pertaining to law, pertaining to military government, like that song that I told you all about in the military, from the shores. No, I meant from the walls of what?
Montezuma?
Yeah. So that was the war against the Moors.
Oh wait. You telling me the proper way to sing it? They taught us the opposite way to sing it. And I get what you're saying. My bad. I was like, wait. They switched up some of the.
That was the war against the Moors or the Corsicans or the pirates.
Because they put the Corsica flag up.
Come on, man. I be laughing at Moors.
Replaced it with the Marine flag.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I just illuminate that with the war of Ferdinand and Isabella. That's why I be laughing at Moors, and I be telling my military brothers, I said, y'all don't know what y'all doing. That's why I tell you, do you ever see a Mormon or a Latter-day Saint or anybody like that going to the military? Because they religious laws trump all of that.
I get what my grandma said, women not supposed to be going. That's what she meant, like Mormon women. I know what she was talking about.
Well, a lot of things we did back in the times because we didn't have no rights to anything. So a lot of people like, shit, well, let me go to the goddamn army and fight for so-called freedom. But when your ass came back, you still was a slave. Just like when your ass got baptized, you still was a baptized slave. I mean, people that don't know the laws. I show more encyclopedias from all your... Blow your mind. It's in the libraries. It's in the periodicals. I be telling people, I said, people lying to you, your own people. You ain't got to go out of the goddamn or go to Africa to know who the hell you are. That's why I be telling people. I said, we lost due to a lack of knowledge because we refuse to learn. When I talk about Empress Tunic El Bey or the Washita, the Hundihai Moors, I'm like, man, come on, man.
This life got me realizing I've been in internet more unfocusing. Oh shit, I ain't got my glasses, my bad. Unfocused, hopping from book to book just to get online and post about it. See? But
and I'm glad he's telling the truth. Because what do I be saying, Isis? Don't I say that shit all the time?
But yeah, but at the same time, I don't feel like he said internet more. I feel like he just trying to get. I don't feel like he internet more. Maybe he just trying to get into knowledge, into the science, but he ain't found the sheik yet.
He was with us for a minute.
Oh, who's this?
That's that one brother that was in the military. See, this is my sister. She is in the military.
What dude? Because the only dude that was in the that dude who bought that free gift thing?
No, he was with us for a minute. Gave donations. Yeah, right. That young boy. Yeah. Come on, let's get out.
That was like a girl.
I ain't no girl.
Isaiah. Okay, I ain't got no glasses. It says Isaiah.
Yeah, I know.
I guess I get what he's saying.
Yeah, I get it.
But
I guess. But when I say focus and dedication, being a member of nothing don't cost too much of nothing. It don't. That's why I be telling brothers and sisters. I said $20, $25 a week is only $100 a month. If you was a member of a church or any society or a fraternity, you'll be giving way more than that. And with the wisdom and the understanding and what we do and how we building and how we growing and coming together, It's no excuse. And that's why I be telling people we be turning our back on things we already have. We be questioning shit because we be looking. It's just like when you looking for love and you find love and somebody tell you to keep looking. Oh, there's so many pretty women out here. Who gives a shit? You find what you're looking for. And that's what I be saying. And I say that all the time, Morris. Our excuse is an excuse. And I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. Our excuse is an excuse. All this stuff I done a million times. All these lectures I done over and over and over. The lecture I'm gonna do on Sunday. The lecture I'm gonna do July 3rd, the 4th of July. Really what it's about, the day of the Kiefer.
Oh, that's gonna be another good
I know.
one. The one from last year.
Yeah, I mean I do it over and over.
Yeah, but
That's why I be laughing. I'm like, dude, I be like, how can we be
I like them.
how can we be that lost? How can we be that blind? How can we let people continue to play with our intelligence when this is elementary wisdom, what I'm giving, or AKA a prereq? No one should be confused. Everybody should be sharing this. But we be trying to bury shit in the ground. I love people to take this science and students to take it farther and farther. Just take me with you. I illuminate it when people be lying to you, talk about you gotta, anytime you go to court or anything, put your hand on some Bible. That's not true.
Oh yeah, because like look, in the military, they tell us you can either because first of all they lied to you because at first the dude told me to put my hand on the Bible. I said, do I have to? And he told me no.
Because you can put it on any holy book you want.
Yeah, he said you could put it on any holy book, or you don't even have to swear on the Bible. You could just raise your hand.
Look, sis. You see Thomas Jefferson Quran? Thomas Jefferson was inaugurated on the Quran.
I ain't not doing. Yeah, I seen that.
But this the one when this is the one they tried to burn. This was the one in the Library of Congress. When I tell you, listen to this, the end part when I was illuminating. In 1801, when Jefferson was president, Tripoli demanded a massive payment from the United States along with the increased annual tribute in order to continue securing safe passage for American ships through the Mediterranean. Jefferson refused the demands, and instead of sending more money, he sent naval warships carrying the newly created U.S. Marine Corps.
What?
This is where the line to the shores of to the shores of Tripoli. Yeah,
I keep singing this
in a Marine hymn.
Sorry.
That's where it come from. That's where it come from.
From the hall, because they say from the halls of Montezuma to
Okay.
the shores of Tripoli.
But then Montezuma, if you really know
I was
the
about to say, get into
Montezuma, I ain't even got into Montezuma yet. That's why I be laughing at these people. The shit be whitewashed. When I show, watch this.
It is
Watch
show.
this. Watch this.
Because they'll teach us the song, but they won't teach us the history behind it. And so we'll be singing the song, and I never know what the hell we was talking about until I read the book, The Montfort Point Marines. They was Moors.
I'll start pulling all shit out. What they saw in color. So we can go on with that goof shit. And don't you know, going to Vegas, don't you know that they got the Montezuma Museum?
No.
Yes way.
If we've been to her museum, we gotta go to that one next.
I mean, come on. All the artifacts is in the Grand Canyon, in the mountains, where they got all the military protecting it. Anybody in the military, ask your sergeant. And if he lied to you, I'll show you the shit. Period. I got film and shit when they was excavating that shit. I was doing a lecture in academia at Grand Canyon University. I got all the shit, all the goddamn small monuments and the statues they found. Real talk. Not in no Egypt, right here in Arizona. Real talk. So a person can come with that, oh, this is new. This ain't new. I'm telling you, man. Watch this. That's why I hope y'all give a $10 donation to Cash App $KG Bayful. You can watch the lecture on July 3rd. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Don't y'all know the ancient Kufic script was employed for the Arabic language before the modern Arabic came into general use? And this example dates from approximately 700 AD and occurs in Nevada, the United States of America, where it was mistaken for a Amerindian markings of about 1000 BC. And it was actually a religious text, and it reads, Nabi Allah Muhammad, Allah's prophet is Muhammad. And it was probably cut into the rock as part of the permanent school lessons of the Muslim settlers of the Southwest. Samples of words from Saga America by Barry Fell. The origins of the Kufic or the angular style of Arabic script is traced back to about 100 years before the foundation of the Kufa or the Kifa, around 638 CE, to which town it owes its name because of its development there. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm just warming y'all up. You can check the S.M. Imandunin, the Arabic writings, and the Arab libraries, 1983. The Taha Publishers, London, page 12. I'm giving you reference. I'm telling you, man, and the purpose that I do this is for illumination. Man, I do this on college with professors, with so-called British Anatolian registry lawyers, prosecutors, attorneys. I know judges. And the purpose for the science that I'm giving is for the student to read with some of the most important sacred histories directly related to the misnomer Black people in America that pertain directly to the subject and discussion of this reparations and this restorations that these NBCs be talking about. And this forbidden idea in America is what? It was never to allow our nation, aka Black people. Man, y'all know the whole science was the death of the Black Messiah, what J.A. Hoover was always talking about. To understand that the misnomer Black people known were the indigenous to this land. Here you go. You good. You know? And yes, we were and are indigenous nation. And this is the history we have not known. And this study and the illumination on July 3rd is a tool to spark the interest in further scholarly studies on our indigenous past and its connection to the reparations, or aka the restoration that these Negroes be making videos about. Y'all started talking specifically about shit. Like when all those rappers on TV, well, what should we call ourselves? Well, our freedom is connected to blackness. Bullshit.
I remember that video.
Your freedom ain't connected to no goddamn blackness. Tell them niggas to break down law. Tell them niggas to break down constitutional law. See, they ain't gonna do that. I'll give you all law and rest my case, and it can be no rebuttal. It ain't gonna be none. Real talk. Moors don't know what they be looking at. This real science. This ain't no fake science. And the lecture I'm doing in the DAP class is gonna illuminate where the science come from. I'm telling you. America are ancient and very real. And there are prior to any settlement of, no disrespect, Europeans who verily this is their record. And they verify it. Negroes are the original Indians. And it's proof in the Jesuit letters. The Jesuit letters. The fucking Jesuit letters. The book African and Native Americans by Jack Forrest paint a very different picture of history than what most of us or NBCs was taught about the origins of Black people in Western Hemisphere. You taught that black people came from Africa as slaves, that the red Indian was the true Native American, and that white people took blacks, slaves from Africa, and stole the land and the red Indian. This story is nothing but a giant fiction, a novel made up. No disrespect by white people, European Albions, and Negroes. No disrespect. No disrespect by the Eurocentric historians to deceive the masses about the original history of people of the Americas. Jack Forbes uses the letters of the Jesuit missionaries to prove that Negroes or black Moors were the first Americans, and in fact were the black and olive tone people found in the Western Hemisphere. Commenting from the Jesuit letters of the appearance of the Native Americans, Forbes states, and I quote, for example, in 1519, it was said of the Brazilians, Non Sano, Nineru, Ni Balanchi, Ma Dor, Di Ulov, that is, they are not black or white, but olive color. But the same writer remarked that the Brazilian Canoman he saw were so black that they could have been taken from the sailors on the sea of the Styx in hell. In the Bible, they say, I am dark as the curtains of Kedar. Right? The author continued his comments on the appearance of the natives in America from the Jesuit letters. In 1524, the Carolina coast people were said to be of dark color, not much unlike the Ethiopians. The term Negro and Indios were used interchangeably to describe the natives in the journals of the early missionaries, who could not have possibly been referring to Africans. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't get mad at me. From 1549, and this, all the Muslims, the Nation of Islam had this. If anybody say they were part of the nation back in the day, well, they got this. If not, they lying. 1549 through 1565, the letters of the Jesuit missionaries in Brazil, usually addressed to colleagues in Portugal or Spain, frequently refers to the Americans as Negroes. In April of 1549, Manuel de Nobrega, the leader of the Jesuits, addressed a letter from the Bahia in Sama Rodriguez in Lisbon, in which he refers to the Portuguese in Brazil as living in sin because of their having many Negros and lots of children by the said black women. I hope you're hearing this. Thus, the Jesuit father called the American women living with Portuguese men Negros, a term which, according to Leaf, and then you can pull up a spelling bee with the little European boy, and they asked him spell Nagas, and he was like, put it in a sentence. Give me the etymology. And he was like, the ancient people of such, research it. Then you'll start connecting what the hell I'm saying. And could not have been denoted people from Africa because in 1549, there were few or no African women in Bahia, Bahia. Nonetheless, Nobrega uses the word Indio. When Africans are referred in the Jesuit letters, they are always called Negros, the blacks of the land of Americas. I hope y'all listening to me. Teachers, ask your professors. Ask your professors to go in their library and go get this right here, the history of the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella. I bet you it's in your libraries. Collected D-U-S-T. A very interesting letter is one prepared by Dos Minos do Siligio de Jesus da Bahia, that is by young Americans studying in the school, Diogo Tapiamba, Pereira, Montiga, and Quintida. Although probably edited by a Jesuit, this may represent the first letter written by Americans in European language from Brazil. And it referred to an American leader, El Grillo, as a Negro and to other native as Negroes. We find, for example, El Grillo, who is a, who is a Negro, very well known and feared among them, and that El Grillo es Negro muy grave. El Grillo was at the same time an Indi pagan, a friend of the Portuguese. In August 1552, Nobrega wrote from Bahia, South America, to Lisbon, which is Portugal, referring to the native people as Negroes. In May 1554, Antonio Basquis from Porto Seguro wrote to the Jesuits of Cumbria, that, and I quote, yo esto en esta porito sirigro, la vida ku hasa yin el qui mi aqua es esto ensino, la doctrina en los negros ya negras. This is he was preaching to the Americans called Negroes. He also referred to the Negroes and Los Malacos de la Tierra as pupils. The editor notes that by Negroes and Negras, he meant Indios, aka Indias. The history, as recorded by their own white hand, bears witness that the black people are the indigenous and first Americans. Americans stemming from the intercourse of Vespucci and Columbus with indigenous black in Central America, Amaru, and this malicious to describe the Negroes, which stems to the Kara Alquinian Arabic word Maluk or Mamaluk or Mamaluk, Mamluk, also shows the indigenous Moorish presence in the Americas. And this history spans from the first encounters of the Europeans with our ancestors to the establishment of the United States of America and the Revolutionary War. I'm telling y'all, man, I'll start showing pictures and everything, but I don't want to show all the pictures yet because I did it already. I'll show y'all this picture though. The Dutch artist, research this Dutch artist, Van or Zan. Remember, in a Hebrew dialect, it never was a J. It always was a Y. So I'll say Jan or Jan Verslet, Verelst. That's the last name. The first name is spelled with a Jan. Painting these paintings of the so-called Mohawk chiefs who visited London in 1710. Research what I'm saying. The paintings were housed in Kensington Palace. Kensington, which is an area in Philadelphia. Don't that sound familiar? Philadelphia. Keep Philadelphia in your hippocampus. Named after this palace, held the original name Shaka Maxim. Shaka Maxim. Shaka Maximum. A Maxim meaning the black spiritual priest of God. And Shakum or Akum or Shakum Aksum. Shahim Aksum. The original name of the Mohawks is Kanyanka or Kanaka or Kaniaka, Kanian hyphen or dash Ka, which resembles what? Cannon. The Israel and the Phoenicians. The center picture is the chief of the Creek Confederacy, Tamachichi, and the members of his nation in England, 1736, having intercourse with James Oglethorpe, then proprietor of the colony of Georgia. You remember it was the 13 colonies? I hope y'all rocking with me, all my so-called historians. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you history when I talk about international and universal wisdom. We just having fun. The Epigraph Society, the ancient Arabic script and vocabulary of the Alcuin Indians. Barry Fales, he broke that down, the Arabic forms and the Arabic forms and all that stuff. I don't want to highlight that because it'll take too long. The Nanaco Moors, the Lanu people. Lanu, Lenape equal Nanaco Moors. The chief tribe of the Wabanaki Confederation of Moors was the Delaware of Lanu, Lenape, where they, the black people, are African Americans, the descendants of the Moors? Okay. William Penn eyewitness accounts of Lenape Nanaco Moors. I hope y'all know who William Penn is, right? For my historians and for my ones that say they love history. The first detailed description of Delawares in a letter from William Penn to the Committee of the Free Society of Traders in 1683. He wrote, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, "For their persons, they are generally tall, straight, well-built, and of singular proportion. They tread strong and cleaver, and mostly walk with a lofty chin, of complexion black, but by design, as the gypsies in England." Black, but by design, as the gypsies in England. Did you hear what I just said?
Black 3 times.
Like the gypsies of what?
England.
Okay. So then you go back to a European. His name is David MacRitchie, and he wrote about the ancient and modern Britons. When I talk about your family crest and your coat of arms. I'm trying to tell you. And they greased themselves with bare fats, clarified, and using no defense against sun or weather. Their skin must be swarty. Now, let me take you to the Netherlands. Black Pete, Black Piet, aka Swarty Pete, aka Swarty Piet. When they lie to you and talk about, oh, there's some Santa's helper, and the reason why Santa's helper is like that because he went down the chimney and got dark. They ain't gonna tell you about that fake ass Santa Claus is Sainter Claus. Come on, man. We go all the way with the shits. We could go all the way with it. And the United States was not born on no Christian doctrine. I'm trying to tell you, Article 11. Research it in the Constitution. Nobody got to say what I'm saying or agree with what the hell I'm saying. I'm here with love. Sons of Saint Tammany, a.k.a. Sons of Liberty, worship a Moorish chief. Look. But you be getting with these characters on the internet. The three-branch system was copied from the Moors, so-called Delaware, Lenape, Nanaco Moors of America. That's why I don't understand why Moors are arguing over things. Anami, A-N-A-M-I, executive, chief enforcers. Musani, judicial interpreters. And Alakta, legislative, 50 women, oral law traditions. Chief Blackhawk, or Mac Ateshiminish Kinyash. I'm telling you, people be looking alike back in ancient times. Man, I'm going to start showing y'all shit, man, when people be mad, because I don't know why. When you look at Chief Blackhawk, he was chief of the Sauk, or the Shock, and his birth date is unknown. That's what they say, but that's a whole nother teaching. I got all the documents. The name Blackhawk is reminiscent of the Black Hawk, or Falk of Kemet tradition, representing Horus, Heru, the resurrection son of Osiris. Just like what I show y'all in the, what is called? I forget, one of the Mason books. But the European call itself El Elyon. You know, it's crazy. But the anointed one, Black Hawk, was born Mashkanash Meshika, or Mashik, or Mashak. In Hebrew word for Messiah, it literally means the anointed one, or anointed, as we can see. This is a part of the name. His last public appearance was, ironically, July 4th, when I do that lecture, the day of the Kiefer, 1837. Research what I'm saying. A special day in ancient Moorish Israelite, So all my brothers that's arguing, oh, the Hebrelite and the Moor the same. Hell yeah, they the same. The only ones arguing is these gangbangers. That's what I call these brothers. They gangbangers. In ancient Moorish Israelite, aka Egyptian culture, in respect to astronomical science. The attire is painted in a very Moorish in tradition. Black Hawk was a terror for the whites in 1800s and is a part of a legacy of black people who have been written off under red Indian history and disassociated from black people and their lineal ancestor of which they are. And the resemblance to Honorable Elijah Muhammad is strikingly similar. Look at them. When y'all look at these pictures, these people know what I be saying. I don't rock with nobody's science or dogma. I just deal with light and throw the rest of the shit in the trash. The United States allegedly, for the purpose of exploring the unknown territory from the western edge of the colonies to the Pacific, the true intention was to spy on the indigenous black people who were in America prior to European invasions and colonization. Captain Meriwether Lewis and Lieutenant William Clark of the United States Army used a black man named York, who was also the son of Yusuf bin Ali. Look this shit up. Along with a native woman named Sisonis Sakawi, found on the millennial edition of the dollar, with her son, John Baptiste Carabinio, to be their interpreters as they gather intelligence. I'm going to give you all another peer-reviewed reference. It's a book called Return of the Ancient Ones. Empress Tierra Verdes Washita reports, and I quote, "Let me get some libations." Everybody can be like, check, 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 because this shit, what I'm saying is facts. Watch this. Lewis and Clark, you know, the Europeans that say they travel through Americas, all that shit. where they documented everything in sight: the weather, plants, rocks, minerals found, the people by tribe, habits, color by warlike activities. And it was documented a bushy-headed tribe who did not like the red man or the white man, the black bushy-headed Washitas. Now, please explain why history did not make us aware of this important fact. Come on, man. This shit should be going viral. It's because we went to spy on the Washitas, a people that the good old United States has signed to be their protectors over their rights, their land, and their property. Y'all know what I'm talking about. John Sibley reports and the Lewis and Clark documents. Don't get mad at me. This day writings. Choctaw. There are rambling hunting parties of them to be met with all over Louisiana. So when y'all talk about some fake ass Louisiana purchase, I'll show y'all what that Louisiana fake ass purchase is all about. I'll show you. They are war with the Chaldees and like by neither the red nor the white people. April 5th, 1805. I'm gonna show you all a picture. To the right, Mashika, another chief with an Aramaic Hebrew name. Mashak, Mahaska, means the one with man horns. Now here we go talk about those horns. As the painting shows, it represents his chiefdom. I'm gonna show y'all. He is the father, where he and his father were recorded to have been in 18 battles with the United States. Research it, and never lost one. He and his father were allies of Black Hawk or Makatai Makisha. He traveled with his father to Washington, D.C. in 1824 to meet with President Johnson Quincy Adams. The Secretary of State was Henry Clay. These two, Adams and Clay, were later ordered by Abu Rahim Ibn Hisham to release Aram Ibn Sori, the prince of the slaves. In 1828, Abraham had been touring all over the West speaking with these chiefs about the laws that were being used to free him under the Moor status. In the 1840s, the government made many treaties with the Native Americans and land deals in Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Kansas. John Quitman and Eliza Tunick, the father and mother of Noble Drew Ali, among many other family members, were a part of the transactions and interactions. Man, I get deeper with this shit. That's why I be telling people, man, you can't blow smoke up no scholar ass. No disrespect. I don't care what color they are. After Lewis and Clark's spy mission, the United States brought 59 European families into Louisiana territory under the guard of the United States Army. I just broke this shit down. The military poisoned the water supply with the intent of murdering off the original indigenous black population. They brought their school curriculums. Wait till I take y'all to the Hurd Museum at our 3rd annual Moor's Ball out here in Arizona. You can't get mad what I'm gonna show you. They got museums of this shit. As they enslaved and murdered the black population, making claims that they, the indigenous people, were fugitives from justice under constitutional law and were European property from Africa. However, the people did not consider themselves by nationality or status as Africans until after this was breeded into them. Come on, man. The indigenous people in Africa did not originally call themselves Africans. They were of Tamari and were Moors. This word African is a word of white colonizers. It's evidence of this deceptive activity to falsify our status that is undeniable. It was a part of a plan to wipe out our indigenous history in America. The names like Tunick and Washita were turned into Turner and Washington. Tell me I'm lying. You can't. Okay, let's deal with some more science. And let's do a fucking checkmate, as my elder Stephen Coakley would say. Check, check. 1752, so-called French and Indian wars were wars between the Moors, the Black Knight Templar families, and the Aboriginal Moors versus British colonies and Great Britain. Check that shit out. In 1776, the sons of Saint Tammany allied with the Moors to fight against the British colonists and Great Britain. Check that shit out. Check that shit out. Some of the British colonies infiltrated the Moors and Sons of Liberty, aka the Sons of Tammany, in order to overthrow the Moors. They were people like Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Andrew Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin. I'll show you all Europeans was initiated into this science and the masonry by Moors. I'm telling you, don't get mad at what I'm telling you. Ask your dad. No, your dad probably won't tell you. A European will probably tell you if he sit and talk to me, because he only 32 and 33 degrees. I'm telling you what I know. the Moors titled Negroes by the United States. Tell me I'm lying. Anybody that got a so-called degree in American history or African American studies or any goddamn international whatever, tell me I'm lying. Here goes a statement from General Thomas Jessup for all my historians. And I quote eloquently with a silver tongue. This, you may be assured, is a Negro, not an Indian war. I hope you heard what I just said. And if it be not speedily put down, the South will feel the effects of this, the effects of it on their slave population before the end of the next season. Major General Jessup, June 1837, in the American State Papers, Military Affairs, cited in Kenneth W. Porter, The Negro on the American Frontier, New York, 1971, page 251 and page 281. If the war be carried on, it must necessarily be one of extermination. We have, at no former period of history, had to contend with so formidable an enemy. No Seminole proved false to his country, nor has a single instance ever occurred of a first-rate warrior having surrendered. And throughout my opinion, I have found the Negroes the most active and determined warriors. And during the conferences with the Indian chiefs, I ascertained they exercised an almost controlling influence over them. The Negroes rule the Indians. Talk to me, man. Oh, I ain't done. Sis, we got something in there. Do your thing. Yeah.
All right.
And throughout my operations, I have found the Negroes the most active and determined warriors. You hear that?
I mean,
And me, yeah.
I mean, they showed it in Wakanda.
I'm telling you. Watch this. I ain't done. And many of the original black inhabitants began to flee from the Western Territory, and many inhabitants sought refuge in Florida. And some went further to west to California and mingled with other unaffected indigenous populations. Research the time period, aka the dispensation in 1816. A U.S. colonial named Duncan Clinch. Write this down. My noble said, "You giving the best history class in the world." He said, "Man, I ain't put my cash app. If you want to get something, get something. If you want to, you can. It's cash app $ KGB. But I'm a teacher. I'm only here for a minute. I'm gonna be gone in a minute. I'm gonna get in my spaceship and go to heaven. I'm telling you, not the flesh gone. When I'm gonna be gone where people want me. I mean that shit. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I'm telling you. Listen to this, y'all. Y'all know Duncan Clinch led an army in Florida to destroy what was called the Black Fort or Fort Negro. Y'all know this shit, right? Ask your teacher. Colonial Duncan Clinch led an army of Red Creek mercenaries and a U.S. Army. It's in that silver thing.
Okay.
He led an army unit into Florida to destroy Fort Negro. Research that book. Research it. I want to go get my book. What you say?
What's the name of the book?
Oh, I got a book. It's called The Black West by William Cass. And Cass report, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue. The explosion killed almost all of its black and red warriors and 200 women and children. The few warriors were led back to the United States as slavery. In his initial orders, General Jackson had asked that they not only destroy the fort, but return the stolen Negroes and property to their original owners. Research this shit. But question remained, did the Aboriginals see themselves as slaves, foreigners of property, or the Europeans as African, Negroes, or colored people? Hell no. Because in Duncan Clinch's report of the battle at Fort Negro, watch this, all my soldiers, the first U.S. invasion of Florida, the information provides facts to the contrary. Colonial Clinch report records, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, Fort Negro, 1816. In the evening, a deposition of chiefs went into fort and demanded the surrender, but they were abused and treated with the utmost contempt. The black chief heaped much abuse on the Americans and said he was left in command of the fort by British government and that he would sink any American vessel that should attempt to pass it and will blow up the fort if he could not defend it. The chief also informed me that the Negroes had a red fucking flag. How? And the English Jack was flying over it. And the fucking English Jack was flying over it. Man, stop playing with me. This should be light to you. This real history. Talk about some Juneteenth.
They go the book Black Niggas, Red Niggas, Moors, Jews, and Aborigines.
I know, I got it all. I got all the shit over there. I'm telling you.
All the books.
The question that must be answered is, were these people former slaves? What was their purpose of flying the two flags that were flying? Two flags. Slaves don't have no fucking flags. A flag represents a nation. What nation did they represent? There were cannons in the use at Fort Negro, wasn't it? And it's a well-known fact in history that the cannon was developed by the Moors in North Africa and Spain. But we was friendly with that fire stick. We not only made the fire stick, like I said, but even a cannon forged from raw iron. See, the two flags represent Great Britain and the indigenous Moorish Empire. Research what I'm saying. They represent a nation of indigenous Moors. And this is the same Islamic empire in the east that Abu Bakr, brother of Mansa Musa, was under when he brought 400 ships into America in 1311 AD. Research this. Is it the flag that the chief was flying at the Black Fort in Florida in 1816? Was there a continuous Moorish connection from 1311 with the arrival of Moors from the east that is documented in Africa and America until 1816? And the documented dates from the present of contemporary Eastern Moors go back to 700 AD, when you can see the inscriptions found from the ancient Nevada school bearing the name of Muhammad as the prophet of Allah. Even though with Drew Ali, when we can't let nobody discredit our science, when they talk about what the flag is. So I don't even want to go all into it, but I just want to get y'all prepped up, man. Y'all don't want to miss this lecture. Man, I got another book about George Washington, former slave, and I got the book, and you see the Moor in the background. That ain't no damn slave. He the science in masonry, because everything was taught in reverse. This is the person that's pinpointing the land. These motherfuckers ain't no shit. That's why in masonry they always put their hand in their jacket. All them little kids and all that, because they have a little bit of that melanin. They not knowledgeable over nothing. The secret is you. You see this motherfucker right here in the back on this horse? Excuse my candor. This ain't no damn slave. This ain't no slave. This is a native of the land. Look how he decked out. I'm trying to tell you. Look how the Moor decked out. This is the person that's pinpointing the land. I'm telling you. Ask your teacher. Ask your teacher. I got the books right over there. I did this shit in scholarship and academia. Washington worships Allah and confirms the empire in the east while working to destroy it in the west. Come on, man. Watch this. The Treaty of Marrakesh of 1786 made between Caliph Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Islamic leader of the Moorish Empire, Maghreb, and the United States of America. And the first page contains the seal and the introductory article of the treaty made in June of 1786. Research it. And later translated in 1787. The Arabic original and English translation protects all Muslims, Moors from enslavement. Research it. Most of the 56 to 57%, according to Slavan Diof's book, Service of Allah, blacks captured in the slave trade were citizens of Islamic nations, Moorish nations that recognized the Caliph of the Moorish Empire. The enslavement of these Moors, Muslims, was a violation of national and international law.
Most people don't know.
I ain't tell you to be no fucking criminal. The Moors of West, who were misnamed Indians and Negroes, were also receiving tributary or payment from King George III and his colonies. And when they, the Europeans, did not pay their citizens, were held captive. In the book, The Life of Charles Thompson, researched this, the history of the black Lenabe, Nanako Moors, Shakum or Shakim, Tedashun is discussed. The payment of the whites and the Tedagushans, choosing of Charles Thompson to act as secretary in respect to the interactions between the Moors, misnamed Indians and Negroes, and the white British subjects. And I can show you all the records. The Life of Charles Thomas. It's in his book, page 45. 11th month of 1756, 19th of the 4th month, 1763. which was chiefly laid out, represents to the Indians and delivered to them the public treaties, either by governors or the providence, Morris and Denny, on behalf of the subscribers, or by the permission. A Delaware chief settled at Wyoming in 1758 at the public presence, intending thereby to place him and his people as a frontier defense. They sent a force of 50 men as carpenters, masons, and laborers who erected 10 or 12 houses, 14 by 20 feet, and one for himself of 16 by 24 feet. He was an artful, wily chief of more than common selfishness and intrigue for an Indian, and withal was intemperate and aspiring. Watson's Analysis of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, Volume 2, page 127. And then Moor by nature and nationality. Watch this. The oldest hieroglyphic of the name Moors, the Temple of Luxor to Mori, so-called Egypt, Kemet, sourced by Dr. Mutami Ashby, Netter Mary, in Kemetan teaching of devotional love. God is termed Mari or Mary, Merri, the beloved one. And all life came from black waters of Nu, called space, of the neutron soup, of the Natura or the Nectaru, which is where Negro is derived from etymology. And I'm going to show you all this in the hieroglyphs. So we can eliminate all the B to the S. It's too simple. This is elementary wisdom, man. And everybody know I'm telling the truth. Everybody. Forget the more science. Deal with the scholarship. Come on, man. The word that we commonly use, niggas, also came from an ancient glyph, Negus or Negust. When I talk about the Kibra Niglas, the Nigus, the Nigus, is the hieroglyph for the black people of Africa. And we were the first ones to call ourselves by these names, and we understood their cosmic biochemical meaning. Here go the glyphs. Come on, man. Nobody can deny what I'm saying. You should be liberated. Everybody should be coming here. We go tip a stripper or do all that shit and buy some cheap liquor. Man, if you say you were more, deal with it. I'm almost done. When we talk about the placenta and all that stuff, the word Muslim is derived from the Arabic and the Hebraic ma or mau, which stems from the Egyptian Sumerian mou, which meant waters. The root stem slm implies peace. So mu salam means a being who is derived from al-ma and is a being of peace. That's why the waters that we are derived from are twofold spiritually and scientifically, Moors. The first is dealing with the placenta and our origin from the waters of the womb of our mothers, the woman, Mayat, the guard that produced food and life. The second aspect deals with a verse of the spiritual science from the Quran in Surah 21, the Al-Binyah, the prophets, verse 30. It is most often translated as, and I quote, "Do not those who disbelieves see that we created from the water, the Al-Ma, every living thing." Surah 2, the Al-Baqarah, the splitting verse 21 and 22. O nation, serve your nourisher and sustainer, the one who created you and those from before you, that you may guard against evil. Verse 22, or Surah 22, or Ayat 22. Who made the earth a resting place and constructed the heavens and reveals revelations from the heavens, then brings forth from the fruits in order to sustain you. So do not set up rivals to Allah while you know. And the Masonic mental baptism of the blackamoor, of the initiate into the universal Cyrus mysteries. Come on, man, you must be initiated. Everybody know I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you, you got to be initiated. You must. Come on, man. There's nothing wrong with this when it's coming from your brother. Listen, watch this. ISIS. I know, but she said, huh, because that's my sister's name.
I thought you was calling, my bad.
Isis, Cyrus' spiritual law. The Niphals, or the Niphals, or the Nifs, or the Nephites. Cyrus' seed, commerce, lineage, were said to be weeping from the death of Osiris. Watch this. Cyrus B, execution of law. As is often the case with Masonic symbolism, the secret or the sacredness of baptism are involved with ancient Egyptian iconography and hieroglyphics. In the image, the gods are portrayed as weeping. When they talk about the weeping prophet, the weeping, all the manifestations, but they ain't gonna tell you what it's about. As they are throwing drops of sacred water, just like when I did in Sunday school, when we talk about the place of the skull, Golgotha, when the blood trickled down to the skull, the veil, when you see the skull, the signs and symbols, the sacred water, the Egyptian hieroglyph, the MST, which looks like the threefold fall of the water, actually means the dew. Remember in the biblical scriptures when they say the dew can water the earth or plentify in the earth? So when you get up in the morning, especially from Flint, when you get up in the morning, you see the dew on the ground.
On the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. And portrays drops of water falling from heaven. The same hieroglyph also means instruction or teaching. I hope y'all are rocking with this science. The 19th century Masonic scholar John Simmons believed that the sound values of the Egyptian hieroglyphs were more closely linked with the Hebrew language than with the Coptic, as was widely believed. And when examining the hieroglyphs, the MST, he pointed out that the Hebrew IRE means to throw drips of water, to sprinkle, and to teach or instruct. The IRE, the Erie or the Erie or the Eri, is related to the eye in English and Latin, and it's the eye of Horus that is seen over the pyramid representing the great architect. Come on, man. Y'all should be like, check. And it further pointed out that the hieroglyphs is linked with the Egyptian baptism, with the notion of shedding a celestial dew on the head of the neophyte. That is with initiation, and it supports the argument or the dissertation. And he examined a plate which showed an Egyptian initiation scene, right? Or gratitude, where the god of Horus and Thoth pours sacred waters on the head of the neophyte, the one initiated in this way by the water and fire, right? By the water and fire. What's called in Hebrew the MSCHE, the Mish, meaning something like begotten, also saved or born again, a word relevant to the new state of the neophyte who has been initiated. According to Simons, the Egyptian hieroglyphic equivalent of this MSCHE or Moses incorporated the image for dew, baptism, or celestial tears. It was the anointing of the master. Come on, man. This true Moor science. I did this with all Europeans on academia, had over 1,000 people there. Those who had translated of the original Dakara language of the Blackamoors, now called Arabic, just like in the 1599 Geneva Bible, it don't call you no African, it call you a Blackamoor. And don't get to playing no to semantics, talk about black mean more. No, it don't. Black is an adjective. I got on a white shirt. My sister, come here, sis. Come here. We're going to do this real fast. She got on a shirt too, right? We both got on shirts. But the adjective of this shirt is a white shirt. She got on a black shirt. So they both shirts. Alakim shalom, noble. Alakim shalom. Alakim shalom. Shalom alakim to you. Alakim shalom, my brother. Peace and love. But called the Arabic or the Quran need a knowledge of clear, untampered history in respect to Prophet Muhammad and his indigenous black Moorish Israelite, the Ishmaelite ancestry and the lineage to the 18th dynasty family of Amram, Amara, or Amarna, as well as a better grasp of the original meaning of the authors of the language of the verses of the Quran, in order to get a full spiritual science and a truth of these verses and all the rest of it. When we talk about the element of water, watch this. H2O. It's definitely the substance that is the basis for some molecular organically living things. However, before the combination of a hydrogen atom and an oxygen atom, nobles, there was life force, power, and motion operating in this universe. The Alma is the verse that is referring to what we call today that ether. Come on, man. Which is a form of the what? Primeval water, that plasma per se, or that dark matter of space per se. I'll give credit to people that brought things out. And Elijah Muhammad did teach some of his students the first atom of the universe was created from space in the Theology of Time lecture series. I study all that. I must. That's why I can correct things when people lie to you. In ancient Egypt, Tamori or Misra, when we talk about that it factor, that space, that premier waters, was called the waters of Nun in your Bible, the Nun, by the Amoran dynasty. So by the spiritual and scientific makeup of the universe, we are Muslim Moor. I'm trying to tell you. Our nature is Islam, which is peace, according to the anatomical and philosophical makeup of our being and this body of law. The Quran, the Quran, it states that this is our nature, meaning the law, that we are born into existence on the laws that sustain and maintain our life force. What am I talking about? That fear, that so-called cross, that fire, that earth, that air, that river. I ain't talking about the Miskil. We can get all into the Ethiopian history of the Miskil and the family that was exiled, but that's a whole nother teaching. When I talk about that Ethiopian cross, that's a whole nother teaching. But we are by nationality and lineage Muslims, Moors. No Arab scholar will ever explain Islam like this to no black person. I teach it. And when I did my oral dissertation, when I got my dual master's degree from GCU, I did that. They ain't going to explain it, not even to their own people, because they, too, have been deceived by their own scholarship. And some are part of rich bloodsuckers of the poor, the class called the 10% teachers of a mystery God. And they are aligned in the satanic conspiracy to deprive us of our full, complete freedom. Everybody know I'm liberating. I ain't coming from no biasness. How can I be? And I'm giving all reference. Surah al-Rums, the Romans, 30 and 30. Surah al-Rums, 30 and 30. So set your person for the upright faith, the nature and origination of Allah, in which he has originated the nature of the people. There is no altering Allah's creation. That is the faith of the resurrected ones. But most people do not understand or even know this science. Law, history, and religion must synchronize. Man, it can mean a plethora of things depending on the context. More mean Westerner as well. It can mean a plethora of things depending on the context. When you start dealing with historical facts, when I started dealing with ancient dictionaries, it's a European name, what's his name? Vladimir Dale. All this stuff. Explanation of what Arab, not A-R-A-B, A-R-A-P. So I don't get into semantics. I break it down historically, anciently, and show people what it means. We can deal with modern and we can deal with ancient. So I'm not here to debate, but gratitude to that. It can mean a plethora of things. But we have to understand the Arabic of the Quran. You need to know a knowledge of clear, untampered history in respect to Prophet Muhammad and the indigenous Black Moorish Israelite ancestry and the lineage of the 18th dynasty. You need to know that. We got to know that. We must know that without a doubt, Moors. The verse that states Allah's, God's nature is Islam, and our persons, which is the self, should be direct towards the nature. The last time that we rule as a people, we live by the spiritual science and culture. Oh, thanks for the donation. Yep, it's Cash App $KG Bay. My noble is like, man, my daughter keep coming on here. She never heard this in school. Gratitude. And she fact checking everything. I had one of my professors on here one day. He was like, "Are you gonna take the job?" I said, "Man, they can't pay me enough." I'm almost where I need to be. I'm almost where I need to be, where I have my own school, my own temple. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And I hate to say it, but it's gonna be, I just have to go where I have to go. But anyway, since our demise, our enemy has done everything possible to keep the ancient one out of the true knowledge of the true history of the last time that Moors, misnomer black people, ruled the planet, and the knowledge of what governing bodies of law used to rule. And this is a fact. People don't understand this. And we split into parties, sects, tribes, organizations, nations. That's why I say it's one nationality, many cultures. Thanks for the donation, Noble. But with one another, which is a sign that we are still slaves that have been mastered by who? The set. Who? The separator. The set. The separator. The satanic elite, which is your own self. The colonized religion we have been taught. When I showed you, I don't know what people be saying that some United States was established on some Christian laws. I showed you in the Thomas Jefferson Quran. Forget some stupid ass TikTok shit. I'll show you this. I'll show you real law, which in essence is the falsification of the most important histories, has filtered over into our political movements, family lives, and every other domain of existence, where more is not in real science. And I say nationality and spirituality, that's political. These Moors ain't political. They playing a dangerous game with that sovereign citizen goofy shit. In order to heal the situation, we must destroy these false historical and religious concepts. And we must deal with the most important historical events and peoples that have shaped and constructed our present realities. And these historians are given in the Bible and the Quran, which is why the Bible and the Quran are so attractive to the populace of the earth who seek the truth. And we must study the teachers from the source of power, which is the people who give and who have given the most profound and freedom activating truth. And anything else is another loop in deception. And if our primary goal is total freedom, we need the truth of Allah. God equals self. Come on, man. We got to give credit to Noble Drew Ali that did things. I ain't even got to go in the history of our prophet and our teachings. But our prophet played an important history. If he didn't, why Europeans wrote about him? Why Peter Moon write about him? Why Peter Lambert Wilson write about him when the Sacred Drift got the prophet on the front? And why Peter Lambert Wilson changed his name to Hakeem Bey? All those Moorish paradigm journals is by a European. Don't let nobody lie to you. They get mad when I tell the truth because they liars. You can get Islam for Dummies. It's a whole goddamn chapter on Noble Drew Ali and Islam in America. That's why we say Islam. He brought the truth back to the true house of Israel. We from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. What are these Negroes talking about? The descendants of the family of Amram, Abraham. Come on, this should be too easy. My Hebrew Israelites and my Moorish brothers, what the y'all fighting over? Y'all Crips and Bloods. You niggas gangbangers. It's in there. Did you see it? You got it, the Islam for Dummies? It's a whole chapter. Find it. It's Noble Drew Ali. I think it's page like 200 and something. Watch. This we, the black people in America, are referred to in the 3rd surah of the Quran. And you got to understand that Noble Drew Ali and his family, along with the mass amounts of our people, are key links of the study in regards to the divine lineage of the 18th dynasty of Egypt, the Moorish Israel. He was the descendant of a man named Yusuf bin Ali, a black man from Morocco, who was a Moorish Muslim national who lived in America. Yusuf bin Ali and his son York were instrumental in activity with Lewis and Clark and the expansion of the white people's knowledge of the Western frontier in America during the 1800s. Research this shit. You found it?
It's like a page
It's in like 200 or something. It's talking about strictly Noble Drew Ali and Islam in America. Noble Drew Ali's father and mother also play a very important role in respect to the subject of America jurisprudence, land, and our ancient indigenous history. This is this covered in chapter 10. The members of the 18th dynasty are hidden under the so-called major prophets of the Bible and the Quran and the lineage and the nation descended from Amran. Research this shit. Ask any European what I'm talking about. They're gonna be like, yeah, you don't know that? Then I'll get the Book of Mormon and break it down and show you it's come from the whole view of the Hebrews. It's like 243 ISIS, I think. It's like 2 something. Or 2.
Yeah, you're right. 243. Islam in America. Institutionalization.
Turn to the second page. What it say? Well, as I read. Is that the chapter about Noble Drew Ali?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
It says that immigrants for an estimated 200,000.
You can go to that one, though.
It says African American Muslims with
Yep.
Muslim origin in the United States. That one.
Yeah.
You want me to start from the beginning?
Yeah, but you just read it to yourself, and then I'll let you come in.
Okay.
Because this shit is known. But from Amram, or from the time period called the New Kingdom in Egypt that give rise to the Olmecs, a Mexam civilization in America. The Olmec, the Mayan, the Aztec civilizations are given credit for all of the scientific, astronomical, agricultural, architectural, engineering, pyramids, and mounds building advance that took place in ancient America. The natives of the land of Mexico, Central America, and the Yucatan, specifically the Kuch or the Kush, the Kish people of Mayaland, say that their ancestors were Israelites. In the history, they were the 18th dynasty Amran nation that left Tamoria, Egypt, Africa, and fled to the Middle East and America. The Quiche or the Quiche, Quiche, who are a native tribe in Mexico, report this origin to the priests in The Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids by Peter Tompkins, and I quote, "These then were the 3 nations of Quiches or Quiches, and they came from where the sun rises, descendants of Israel, of the same language and the same customs." When you see the temple inscriptions at the Palquic, the Mexico house, the only Egyptian-style burial tomb in the Western Hemisphere, said by some researchers to be the tomb of Pakal Votan. Researcher Ali Muhammad attributes the tomb to the lost burial of Moses, Pharaoh Akhenaten, and the leader of the Moorish Israel, or the Moorish Israelite. Man, come on, man. People want to get mad at all type of stuff. And then I showed y'all when Negro Masons bow down to potentates, and when they talk about some ancient rite of the mystic shrine, and I show you the Europeans came up with that with 1940. They ain't nothing but transcribers, no disrespect, and they was initiated into the science by you. I showed you that the no disrespect, the KKK, their paperwork and their spiritual science, they use the Quran. It's the Quran, they just put an L in it. And then I show you pictures of Master Fire Muhammad. I don't care how no Muslim feel. Y'all got to stop lying. They'll try to use the government documents to prove all the other shit. But then when it comes to the truth of the matter, they want to say, well, we don't know who such and such is. Well, it's a mystery God. So I'm going to read something. I'm going to show you a picture. Master Fire Muhammad under the alias David Ford. Pictured in the upper left-hand corner. There are many Masons shown in the picture. The development of the Moorish Science Temple of America saw the influence of many high-degree black Shriners, Masons, secret societies, particularly, so I put a quote, I put in parentheses, particularly the ancient Egyptian Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine, started by Noble Ali Rofel Pasha and John George Jones in 1893. And I showed y'all what the Europeans, when they talk about they some ancient rite of the mystic shrine in 1914. That's not ancient. They sons of Muslims. And so the European is not the joke of masonry. The Negro is. When they bow down to somebody that, and they'll tell you if you initiate it, the European will tell you he a son or she a son of a Muslim because they only 32 and 33 degrees. I'm trying to tell you, the son does the bedding of the mother. Real shit. Because of. These secret societies played a major role in the events during the late 20s and 30s and governmental changes in America that have great importance in the events happening presently in the respect to the subject of reparations and the New World Order. This was in the Moorish literature pamphlet, The Industrious Acts of the Muslim, page 17, by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Interviews with Anderson L. of Baltimore, done by Carl Evans and cited in The Messenger. I'm telling you, man. Man, I can show y'all pictures of things when people be lying saying they don't know nothing. When I can show y'all Founders Day, when Farrakhan and all of them, and then when you see, I ain't even gonna say his name, I shared it on you. And he's saying, oh, the first time I see somebody with the fez on with Muhammad. He picked it up. But no disrespect, I give love, but he just lied. The Negro said that the only time they see the fez was Noble Drew Ali put it on his followers. And then he'd contradict himself with some magical shit. He'd pull out the fez and say, well, I didn't have one. He said it wasn't his. This was his brother's sisters. And he said, boom, 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 fire Muhammad. But he lying because earlier he said that Noble Drew Ali introduced the fez and resurrected the fez and had it to the followers of the Moor Science Temple of America. These is fucking facts. I'm telling you. That's why you see the European Mason or the Negro Mason wear it in secrecy, because it's clandestine. And the European have Mecca, Allah, all that, Mayat, all the ancient names on it, on they topi or they fez. Real shit. So I leave y'all with that, man. I hope y'all come to the lecture July 3rd. I'm telling you, we give more science. I will hope more start coming to the lectures, to our scheduled lectures, because if you join a lecture and we're going to give 10 minutes, and if don't nobody want to donate to the lectures, I just log off like I did yesterday, because I ain't even get into science. I did a whole, in academia, man, I might lecture for 2 hours and we take breaks because I'll be giving wisdom. And so I'm coming back to our people doing these teachings for pennies of the dollar. And just asking for a donation. I ain't asking for nobody 10% of nobody income, even my members. Any questions? You found it?
Oh, I read past it.
Come here.
Sorry, I started reading.
Hold that book up. What that book say? Islam for Dummies. You can get that anywhere. What chapter it talk about Noble Drew Ali? What page?
Chapter 15, page 243.
243. It talks about Noble Drew Ali all in here. And I just want y'all to research it. I just wanted my sister to read it for a fact when I say none of this shit is secret. Nothing I talk about is a secret. Right?
Nope, it's not.
And it only gives you basic information that you already know.
Yeah, because first it's just an overview. It says it's just giving a percentage of Muslim origins in the United States, and then they just give you a snapshot of the Muslims today, and it just calculates the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is when it goes establishing the organization with the MSA.
Let me see something. Hold on, let me see something. We almost done, y'all. I just want to see something real
Because it's more
fast.
back on page 300 too.
248. I know it was one of them 240s. Bam!
That really is.
There you go, sis.
Oh, thank you, cuz.
Yeah. Read a little bit of that, and then we close.
My bad. Okay. I'll just start at the beginning, because if you miss the beginning, you might miss something. So, reestablishing a Black Muslim community. By 1900, Islam had pretty well disappeared among the descendants of former slaves in the United States. Of course, racism hadn't disappeared in the United States, and religion was one of the ways that African Americans attempted to assert their identity and claim their place in America. Most African Americans were and remain Christians, but some African Americans rejected Christianity and turned to the religion that many of their ancestors had practiced, which is Islam. And the section traces the development of African American Islam by focusing on the 6 leaders. And the first leader is Noble Drew Ali. The Moor Science Temple of America is the first explicitly Islamic movement in the United States. Timothy Drew, its founder, was born in 1886 in North Carolina. Little is known of the first 25 years, so they say, but the various legends about him added to the sense of mystery that was part of his appeal. Was he a descendant of Balali, Muhammad, or a slave descendant raised by Cherokee Indians, which she was just talking Egypt as a teenager and learned the secrets of ancient Egyptian religion? Had he yet been to Saudi Arabia, and did the king of Morocco commission him to teach Islam in the United States? What's certain is that by 1913 he was in the north. He had changed his name to Noble Drew Ali and founded the first Moorish temple in Newark, New Jersey. Noble Drew Ali combined elements from under the number of different sources: the Pan-African Americanism of Marcus Garvey, Christianity, Islam, Theosophy, and Freemasonry. And I'll start in with this one. Islamic elements included Noble Drew Ali's claim to be the last of the prophets of Allah and his Holy Quran, the Circle 7 Quran, composed in 1927. Ali's 64-page Holy Quran bore little resemblance to the Islamic Quran. It contains significant elements from the Bible, Apocryphal, Jesus Gospels, and Rosicrucian.
The Rosicrucian Manual. Unto thee I grant.
The Rosicrucian Manual. Thank you. A form of Freemasonry text, in addition to material from the Quran. Ali taught that African Americans were Asiatics who could trace their ancestry back to Morocco and beyond that to Jesus. African Americans should abandon their slave identity and religion and claim their heritage. Converts generally drop their slave last names, substitute it for El or Bey, and carried a national identity card. Men often wore a fez and women wore a white turban. Today's Maya is brown. They avoided pork, regarded as slave food and alcohol. All right, I said in there, but this is the last paragraph, so I might as well just read it. The movement appealed to poor black who made up the first great migration from south to the urban north from 1915 and 1930, but by the late 1920s, there were 300,000 Moorish Americans in the major cities of Midwest and Northeast. In 1929, Ali was arrested in connection with the killing of a rival. Released from jail, he died the same year under mysterious circumstances. But the movement continued to grow. Only in the 1950s did the Nation of Islam surpass its membership. Although small, the Moorish temple is still active today and is still growing.
See? And that's in the Islam for Dummies. Let me see that.
Oh, my bad.
That's in this right here. You can get anywhere.
48.
There you go.
Thank you.
So don't let nobody get up and tell you like shit secret. Like Peter Moon, all them, and another European named Spencer Dew, the Aliyhites, when they try to give an analysis on the science, but they can't because they're on the outside looking in. You got to have somebody that's on the inside looking in and tell the truth of the matter and give you something to compare to. And this just a tittle of all science. Any questions, man? Any questions? Put these back. So I just wanted to give y'all that little bit of light, man, and encourage y'all. Man, come to Sunday school. Come to adapt class. I'm telling you, man, it'll be well worth it. Don't miss out. I got way more to give y'all, man. Don't let others get the science and then I come back on here and teach the science to my brothers and sisters for small donations. And then I show you how to apply it, especially if you're a part of a nation. I show you what the religious laws really consist of. And you can get a real personal view of what we got going on and see how we can build our own infrastructure. Because that's what it's about. It ain't about nobody just knowing a whole bunch of book shit. It's about, okay, then we get behind something that can take us to another place. That can say, hey, man, let me help build our infrastructure. Let me help build our spirituality. Because the truth has no size, man. And a prophet is no good in his own country. So let's change that. And let's deal with light. Any questions, Morris? If you have any questions, man, on some righteous stuff, no crazy questions, man, please. If you say anything goofy, I'm going to block you. But Morris, we got to come to an agreement because we can do this. It's only one law, it's only one science, and we cannot arbitrarily explain science. We just can't be dealing with somebody because it sounds good or I like what they saying. Who gives a shit if it's not truth? And the truth will make you free. And you should be able, and if you're doing something that you don't want to teach your kids, then it's not righteous. And I always say more science is for the family. It should make you better. Any questions? Any questions? If not, man, like I said, I encourage you to come to class, man, to learn. Check out mypdfbooks.com. Oh, and that book is Atlantis of Latter Days, when it's nothing but the Osiris mysteries. When I break this shit down, I tell you, man, they lying to you. And all my brothers that's Masons, I promise you, you don't know anything. I promise you, and it's no disrespect. I promise you, you don't. I can illuminate all the science for you and bring us out of those things and have us come back to things that we should be a part of. I'm anointed and consecrated, and that's how tribes start, with individuals and families. We got to start it. If Moore say they looking for stuff, you can. I don't care what you're dealing with, if you're going here and that, but a school of thought, if you are Moore, you should want to deal with this school of thought, because the financial obligation is really nothing to all the things you're going to receive. I promise you. And if you miss class, I'm going to send you the audio and the video. So it's nothing that you can miss. And you're going to fill your library. You're not going to have to go to Amazon and buy anything. And then if you really, really like to, how can I say it, book clubs, I illuminate every book that I'm going to give you, that you're going to get, that you're going to receive. We go over it because I know a lot of people don't have the aptitude or maybe know how to, how can I say it, take time to study. And so we illuminated to bring people up, because a lot of times the ancient ones didn't have books. We had shaman, we had medicine man, we had those that were skilled with that science, like Credo Matua was saying from the Zulu, those that was able to teach mathematics and reading and all that to the children and to adults and teach history and spirituality. Those are the shamans. Those are the medicine men. Those are the ones we got to hold up to a status. And so I give y'all love, I give y'all honor, and I would, like I said, I left it open for anyone have any questions. If you don't have any questions, I give gratitude and honor. Man, I love to build with somebody, man, and like I'm saying, let's build like a little podcast or something with somebody. I don't want to put this in the hands of somebody else. I love to link up with somebody and say, hey, man, let's do a little podcast and let's ask some questions, and we can do some things the right way and kind of spread this message. And do things and take it to the next stratosphere, because a lot of people be saying like we Israelites and all that, and I understand, I really do. But we're talking about today nationality and spirituality, and I'm not dissing any one nationality. I'm gonna deal with laws and the things that's pertaining to law that makes us free. And in order to make you free, you need your nationality and your spirituality that make you a complete fifth. All those memes and shit don't mean nothing. Not if we can't agree as a people and take this where it needs to be taken, to the world courts. We'll talk about everybody else when we talk about the Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. You got a right of a nationality and a right to change it, and no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. Why them brothers ain't talking about that? Why them brothers ain't talking about House Joint Resolution 75, where you have the right to annex your elder bay or your tribal name? What about the SF 181 form? What about all these petitions that we can do if nationality is the order of the day? Because doing some stuff locally, you wasting your time, because all local courts and all jurisdictions know that you Moors. I'm telling you, I don't diss nothing. I take wisdom where it is. You can go to any city hall and ask with a nice voice, what was the real cause of the Civil War? And what was you called before all that? Moors. If people don't want to deal with that, I'm okay with that. But we got to come to an agreement on paper. So you don't understand all around in 2012, All those states signed the proclamation of you being a Moor and understanding your rights and your religious freedoms. Are you telling me you don't know that? If nationality is the order of the day, and we can jump behind something, we don't have to play no games or play no religious game with no one. Moors can be under anything they want as far as religiously if they understand what they under. We don't gravitate to one science where we miss the essence of the rest. I keep telling Moors we under the triple rose of the adapt chamber. So the Moor Science Temple it should be a school and a house of Moors to come learn, not a religious sect or no damn Islamic religion. That's a fact. And damn sure not to overthrow no damn government. Cause I tell Moors, read your bylaws and your divine creed. Read 4, 5, 6, and 7, and tell me if I'm saying something wrong. So with that being said, man, I love y'all, man. I hope y'all, make a real choice. If you want to learn, I'm here. I'm here to work with anybody and to teach from law. And if we confuse and things, hit me up. Don't ask me no question about can somebody nationalize you? Can't nobody do that. But let's deal with some facts of the matter and let's go from there and build. So with that being said, I love y'all, man. Peace, light, and illumination.